The Faceless Ones. Aside from being the third book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series, I thought I could tie those two together. The one I'm talking about today is the 8th serial of the 4th season of Doctor Who, first broadcast in 6 parts from the 8th of April to the 13th of May 1967. Now, at the current moment I'm recording this, only 2 of the episodes of this story actually remain in their original format, those being episodes 1 and episode 3. However, the entire story was recreated in animation, and yeah, it was the 8th classic Doctor Who story to be entirely recreated in animation, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. It would also be the final appearance of companions Ben Jackson and Polly Wright, as Michael Craze and Annika Wills would depart at the end of this particular serial. So, the second Doctor, played by Patrick Troughton, and his companions Ben Jackson, Polly Wright, and Jamie McCrimmon, played by Fraser Hines, land the TARDIS at Gatwick Airport, and immediately seemingly run into trouble as they find a dead body in one of the hangars, to which they end up encountering numerous airport staff who aren't necessarily the most helpful, particularly the Commandant, played by Colin Gordon, who's, while he's possibly just doing everything by the book, he does seem to be very unhelpful in the matter. Like, we found a dead body, where are your passports? But look, there's a dead body in the hangar. Like, I can't do anything for you until you show me passports. Like, really do bigger fish to fry. I mean, yeah, however, you can understand with the Commandant exactly where he's coming from. I mean, most of the time he's trying to get things down to the most logical route and trying to do things by the book, even if it can hamper at times. But you do care for him throughout the story. The other characters they encounter include a very sinister captain named Blade, played by Donald Pickering, and a rather helpful secretary named Jean Rock, played by Wanda Venton, a nurse named Nurse Pinto, played by Madalena Nicole, a rather sinister quiet man named Jenkins, played by Christopher Trunchell, and 2 inspectors named Crossland and Gascoigne, played by Bernard Kay and Peter Whisker, who have seemingly been sent down to uncover a strange mystery. Now, the mystery they're really clicked onto by the arrival of a woman named Samantha Briggs, played by Pauline Collins. She said that her brother recently came to this airport and he was due to take part in a holiday by Chameleon Tours, seemingly a travel company. And Chameleon Tours offered something rather weird, which is that when you get to the airport to sign up for one of their tours or one of their trips, they would give you postcards at the airport to wherever you're going to, Rome, London, Paris, wherever, and you would sign it there, then you would give them back to the flight attendant, and she said, when we get to where we're going, I'll post them for you, seemingly to remove some of the hassle. But the reason why Miss Briggs has shown up is because her brother recently went to one of these tours, and while she did receive a postcard from him, she felt it was a little strange, and she realises her brother seems to have disappeared. And what they ultimately discover has happened is down to an alien race referred to as the Chameleons, i.e. Chameleon Tours. They are taking various young people, 50,000 young people, on these sort of holiday things, but once they get them onto the planes and get all of the stuff sorted, they head off seemingly the direction where they're going, but then, as the Doctor notes, their dots on the radar seemingly stand still after a little while, to which the Commandant points out, well, that must mean their planes must have crashed, or their plane, because when a dot appears to stand still on the radar, that usually means the plane is heading straight down. Like, well, yeah, but couldn't it also mean they're going straight up? Like, to get beyond the range of our radar, they have to go 100 miles up. We'll put them in space. Exactly. It turns out what they're doing is the Chameleons have taken over various members of airport personnel, and including the people on these flights, such as Captain Blade, Nurse Pinto, and various different people, and what they're doing is getting people onto these flights, and then halfway through the flight, these people are miniaturized down and get frozen, and then taken up to their spaceship, where the chameleons can then use machinery that they have in order to assume the identities of people who they've captured. Now, supposedly, you can also feel sorry for these aliens because it's revealed what they've done is, or why they're doing this, is because their planet fell into trouble, so they've had to kind of learn to adapt and ultimately are trying to take over these people's lives in order to kind of find a way to deal with their own crises. So, towards the end, you can't help feeling sorry for them. Now, this would also be another case of Doctor Who using an actor or actress that they would later reuse later down the line. In this case, Samantha Briggs is played by actress Pauline Collins. And while in this story she's mainly just there to provide a link to the ground, with with her constantly looking for her brother and having to deal with the various bureaucratic movements of an airport. Later on, Pauline Collins would return to Doctor Who in 2006 in the 10th Doctor story, Tooth and Claw, where she played Queen Victoria. So, once again, I guess it proves, sort of jokingly, that Britain only has about 10 actors, but you know what? It's nice to see her here, and I think she does a really good job. The only thing that I would mildly complain about, and to be honest, this wasn't even something I really had to deal with, but when I looked up kind of pictures of this story, I saw a picture from the animated colour version of this story. Now, I personally watched this story in black and white, the black and white version, similar to get the best experience, like it was in 1967. However, in looking at the animated colour picture of the chameleons, the aliens they got, I gotta admit, I wasn't exactly satisfied with what the colours would have been. Because, I guess, using my own imagination, I thought that the chameleons would either be purple, like they are in the box art. The box art shows an animated picture of the Doctor, and and behind him a picture of a creature that's half the chameleon and half Polly, and it's purple, which, okay, is a face stunning colour. Or I thought they would be green, like they end up being in the story. Except when I looked at the picture, it shows that the creature itself is green, which I felt, yeah, okay, that's a good colour for a chameleon to be. But then their clothing, like their robes, were yellow and red. And I was just like, really? I mean, I didn't even personally see that in the story, because as I said, I watched it in black and white, but I just thought, red and yellow with these creatures? I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe I was just expecting the creature to be all green, which, you know, I felt would have been good, or have green skin and then purple robes, which I thought would have worked out quite nicely. So I know it's a weird thing to complain about, but anyway, that's just me. But as I said, this would also be the final appearance of Ben and Polly. At the end of the story, when they've finally got things settled with the chameleons, got everyone back to Earth, hell, Jamie even has quite a heartfelt goodbye with Samantha Briggs, with her giving him a kiss. Yeah, very nice. The Doctor and his friends go back to the runway, and the Doctor starts looking for the TARDIS, to which Ben and Polly ask if they might stay in London, stay here for a little bit. Although Jamie isn't exactly keen, given that he's from the 1500s, he's not very keen on it overall. When they ask exactly where they are or when they are, they say they're at Gatwick Airport. It's around 20th of July 1966. To which Ben and Polly realise that this is pretty much the day they left. And they say to the Doctor that while they're stuck around with him if he really needs them, they would like to really go off and stay. Stay in London, 1966. To which the Doctor is sad to see them go, but admits they probably should. He tells Ben to go off and become the admiral of a ship, and Polly to look after him. So the two of them end up departing. It's sad to see them go, but it's nice to see that particular arc with companions. Like, they realised it was fun, but it's time to go back to real life. Which is nice to see. And as the story wraps up, the Doctor points out to Jamie, yeah, the TARDIS isn't here. It's probably been stolen. So the two of them end up walking off to try and find the TARDIS. I will admit, as I said, the only real problem I have is with the colour recreation of this story. I wasn't convinced about the red and yellow with the aliens, but you know what? It's a minor thing. I didn't actually see it, and you know what? Having watched through the Faceless ones, I think it's a good story, and I think you should check it out. You can check it out any way you want to, either with the two stories that do still exist or entirely animated. I went entirely animated, and I think it's a good story. Anyway, there you go. There's my quick little review of The Faceless Ones from 1967. What will be my next classic story? Well, the next one that was broadcast was The Evil of the Daleks, which is set to get an animated release later this year. I would like to try and get that one, but what'll be my next one? At this point, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. Until next time, see ya.